Good morning, Facebook. How are you? Happy Wednesday. So you guys see in the title, which is actually not what I was going to talk about on this morning, what salon professionals say who earn 75K or more, but what I had written down fell so in line with it. I said, hey, I think that's going to be really, really, really good to share. So if you're on with me this morning, say hello in the comments, even if you come back on a replay. I am attempting to share the broadcast out on a few of my other platforms, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling. Even if you come back in, I'm realizing that, several people are coming back who are following and watching the videos. I love to interact with you. Even if I'm not up here, you can leave comments. Let's see. You can leave comments. I always come back and respond. What salon pros say earn 75K. Where's the plus sign? Plus. Share this out to my other platforms. I really, guys, don't like the fact that now I have to share it out from a totally different device. So it doesn't allow me to already have the titles in and things of that nature. But I'm just pushing through. No worries. I'm still going to get the message to you guys. And let me sign on here with Instagram really quick. So I hope you guys are doing well. And this is so amazing because originally I wanted to talk about commitment. I wanted to talk about commitment. And, I'd written out, some bullet points of what I wanted to talk about. And then I was scrolling and I saw inside of one of the private groups, someone had asked the question. It was actually someone, generally wanting to know, like, what are you salon professionals doing who earn, 75K or more? And so I was like, this is so interesting because how many of you know success leaves clues? Success leaves clues, guys. And so I wasn't surprised at all by many of the things that they shared. I'm getting Instagram straight over here, I think. By many of the things they shared. Hey there, how are you? Let me see. I can't even see. Did that do it? Okay, there we go. I'm not even going to put a title in for Instagram. So, hey, how's everyone doing? You guys seeing the title, What Salon Pros Say Who Earn 75K or More. If this is your first time on a broadcast with me, put first timer in the broadcast, whether you're catching me on the replay or live. I'm going to do a quick introduction for those of you who are like, who's this lady and what is she talking about? I am Tanya Wilson-Cherry, beauty business consultant and certified life coach. So what I do is help hairstylists and salon owners to create amazing brands and lifestyles that they love. Hey, Dandy, how are you? And lifestyles that they love. I work from a full circle perspective with my clients. So we focus on mindset, personal development, and business building. I give them amazing strategies that help them position themselves for their perfect people in and throughout the marketplace so that they can profit more and create a lifestyle that they love. And it's so important to me that I help my clients find harmony because there's so many of us in the industry who, if we're not experiencing it now, have experienced times of burnout because, we were working 12 to 14 hours behind the chair or, even sometimes 7 days a week. And so the money may have been coming in, but just so exhausted and losing out in other areas of our lives. And so I help my clients to find harmony, to create ways to work smarter and not harder, to actually maximize their gifts and their profits, right? Branding is huge for me because I teach from a perspective of, really understanding your brand DNA, the identity of your brand, not necessarily logos so I had a call from a stylist. Hey, Simone, how are you, dear? The other day, and she was talking to me about she didn't think the name of her business was correct, and She was considering changing the name. And I told her that, you know, if she worked with me, we would learn to understand who her brand was first. She could always go back and change the name later, because most of the time we kind of do the thing backwards. You know, we pick the logos and we pick the name of our brand and our website, and then some of the foundational things aren't there that actually help us to be high producers in the industry. And so I find that many stylists want to know, you know, what's my website going to be and what's the look of my brand going to be. But much of that is found when you figure out who you are. And once you figure out who you are and you give yourself permission to be fully and completely that, you can soar. You can soar. So that's what I do for stylists. I help them find clarity, develop amazing strategies that position them in places. Many make 75K and above who actually work with me. But on today, so what I originally wanted to talk about was commitment, right? And I'm still going to tie all of that in. But as I was on social media inside one of the private groups that I'm a member of, someone asked the question, like, what are, you know, for any of you stylists who are making 7K plus, you know, what is it that you're doing? And so I want to share some of those things with you guys this morning, because success leaves clues. Like, I feel that we should be, you know, as unique as possible. I believe in branding. I believe in being very authentic about how you operate your brand and your business. But I also believe that there are just simply some foundational things that you just can't skip over. And when I heard the people listing, you know, the people who were making 75K, 100K and better, listing what it was that they did, I thought this would be an amazing share for you. So one that really, really stood out for me was, one girl said, I go to classes like it's my job. I go to classes like it's my job. And she said she was sharing that with someone, like verbally, while she was in the salon. And her client looked at her and said, you better. You better. And then she made the statement that her client had high standards. So a lot of times when we're looking to up level, you know, what it is that we make in the industry, how much we're profiting, we also have to know that the people who are willing to pay us for those services oftentimes have different standards, right? And so they want to go to someone who's educated, who knows the latest trends, not necessarily every latest trend, but they're keeping up with styles. They're not feeling like, you know, someone's grandmother when they leave out of the chair. You guys get that? Because consumers, they see styles in magazines, they're on social media, just like everyone else. Now, this does not mean that you have to go and learn every new style that's coming out on the market, but you do have to understand who your ideal customer is. And if you've niched out, like if your niche is cutting, or if it's coloring, or if it's braiding, then it's just being really good in that niche area, right? Being able to offer things that are relevant to your clients. So she said, I go to classes like it's my job. I thought that was huge. Another girl said self-development. Self-development. That's an area that we skip in the industry. We overlook it as if, you know, the classes that we go to should only involve, you know, our skill set with hair. But your self-development will be how you operate with people, right? And you guys know we service people. So these are all people who make 75K and better. They were answering a question, and these are some of the things they said. So one girl said, I focus heavily on self-development. So one of the things that I think it's important that we know as salon industry professionals is that all of the information that you get that's going to help you to grow your salon career is not going to be found necessarily at a cut party, right? It's just not. And okay, this is no shade to cut parties, but none of them mention cut parties. None of the stylists mentioned things that were necessarily entertaining as much as they were educational, as much as they were things that they actually could take things with them and grow as a stylist and a professional. So one young lady says she follows motivational gurus. So I talk to you guys all the time because 80% of building your business, it's not the skill set. It's not the skill set. It's your mindset. It's your 80% of everything that you do if you're going to grow your business, especially if you're looking to reach um, more than average levels in your income. It's going to be your mindset. It's going to be in your mindset, your marketing, your planning. It's going to be other things outside of you just doing hair, right? So she said she follows motivational gurus. So that means that you're going to constantly have to be doing things to keep yourself motivated. Now, I believe when you have a vision that you're fully connected to, nobody has to motivate you every day. But different people need different things at different stages in their career. Another girl said, don't hang out with the salon gossipers and complainers. Guys, I tell you all the time, you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I shared on yesterday, hey, Tiffany, how are you, dear? And thank you for tagging the young lady in my post. I know that you're not in the industry, and I also noticed that you share, my content or my information, and I appreciate that so much. I don't take it for granted, Tiffany. So one young lady said, I don't hang with the salon gossipers and complainers, right? So I share with you guys all the time that the 5 people you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And the people I find who are, really serious about getting to their next level or really earning high levels in the industry, they're rarely, you rarely catch them gossiping or complaining. They're not complainers. I put a post up the other day and I said, great minds talk about ideas, average minds talk about events, and small minds talk about people. Great minds talk about ideas, average minds talk about events, and small minds talk about people. And that's actually a quote that someone stated. And so it's true, guys. These earners who are earning 75K or more, they said don't hang around the complainers or the gossipers in the salon. You become an average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I do that because a few years ago I noticed this need was a void in your aspect of the business. Yes, I hear it all the time from consumers, Tiffany. They're observing us too, right? And you guys remember I said when I first started that one of the things they said is I go to classes like it's my job. And one of her clients said to her, it is, because her clients had really, really, high standards. So this lets you guys know the consumers are watching. They have certain people that they want to be around, certain energies, certain environments. And as you continue to grow, everything around you will do that as well. And that's self-development. It's not skill set. You guys know you can be an amazing stylist. You can do bomb hair and not have a great clientele, not be making 75K. It can be hit or miss, right? You guys understand that, right? Hey, Brooke, how are you, dear? Thank you for joining. So another thing, one lady mentioned that she earns that much because she has a full-time assistant. And I really wanted to touch bases on this because when you're thinking from a space of prosperity, right, you're going to do what's necessary for next level. And if you're thinking from a limited space, from a lack mentality, you're going to look at maybe hiring an assistant or any type of help that's going to help you push forward in your goals, your dreams, and your vision. You're going to look at that as another expense. But what you have to begin to think from is a space of value, not how much it's going to cost, but how much value it's going to bring to you. So one of the stylists, because this is a group of stylists who answered a question, she said an assistant was one of the things that helped her to earn, 75K or more. Because, okay, your business model is how you run your business, right? And so many stylists and salon owners, unfortunately, create a job for themselves. They don't really own like a business. They create a job for themselves, meaning if they're not at work, they're not making money, they are the person that the expenses and all of this stuff is really their sole responsibility. And so the goal is to be able to duplicate people who can do the things that you do, right? Because now you can make more money from the services that you actually do because you have someone to duplicate those processes. They're only 24 hours in a day. And so one of the things they highlighted was having an assistant. When I was a salon owner, I had 2 assistants. Some days I did 15, 16 heads. But if I attempted to do all of those heads on my own, one, I would be burned out, like just toe down, right? 2, my work wouldn't be nearly as efficient as it could be. And thirdly, with an assistant, you can actually take more people comfortably, right? And I think I know there's so many people who have hired assistants before, but what I feel the struggle has been with hiring an assistant is, one, looking at the value of hiring an assistant and not the cost. Yes, it is going to cost you more money, but you are going to earn more money because you can produce more services and you can put out more work within the same amount of time. But 2, with an assistant, many assistants aren't being properly trained. So it's not necessarily, the assistant didn't work out. It's whether or not you are properly training the assistant. Training is one of the things, training is such a huge word, guys, because it's one of the things that's gravely missing in salons is a proper training program for, new people who are coming in, getting people acclimated to the vision, but also, with us, we don't feel as if we need to be trained. Many of us are gifted, extremely gifted, but all gifts need to be cultivated. All gifts need to be cultivated. So one girl said that her low goal, and this was huge, she said, my low goal weekly is 2,500. That was her low goal. Her high goal was 5 to 7K per week. So I want to ask you guys, how many of you are setting your goals too low? Lord have mercy. If you follow me, I say all the time, but believe bigger, right? Because I truly believe that when you set higher goals, right, and then you have a proper strategy to do them, because sometimes we set these unrealistic goals and the order in which we're attempting to obtain them, doesn't make sense, or the time frame that we've given ourselves to do it doesn't make sense. For instance, if you're making 20K and then you want to make 300K in 6 months, it's kind of unrealistic. So sometimes the goals are too small that you're setting for yourself. Sometimes people don't have goals, right? And so as long as we don't have goals, we don't have anything to measure, right? So I'm looking at the things that the people who make 75K and better named, and one girl said she had a low goal of 2,500 per week and her high goal was 5 to 7. And so what I find is, a lot of people who, come on complimentary, I do what's called a complimentary sword call to help stylists see, how I can help them further in their business and where they are. And rarely, right? Well, no, I'm going to take that back, because I experienced it more rarely when I didn't understand more fully who my ideal customer was. So let me take that back. But there was a time when many people would come on, they wouldn't have any number goals set. So guys, I have clients who have $300,000 goals, $500,000 goals, which may seem astronomical, right, to someone who's earning 35, 40 as a salon professional. But you got to know that there are strategies for these goals, and there's a time frame. Hey, Sojo, there's a time frame involved with all of it. So I'm going to go back through the list of things, and it was tons of things. I just picked a few that stood out for me that the stylists who earn 75K and better were saying. So one girl said, I go to classes like it's my job. It's just she's committed to education, right? The second person said self-development has been the thing that has helped her to get past that 75K mark, right? Someone else said they follow motivational gurus. I just picked some. A lot of them were actually saying the exact same things in their own words in different ways, because success leaves clues, guys. We can attempt to skip over them, but it is consistent across the board. Even the people I work with who are earning 75K and more, they have these same habits. Every time I do a new or an up-level program, they're taking it, right? they, one of my clients actually took a leadership class with someone, so my clients are always looking to grow and to improve. And one person posted a video that someone did, and the guy said, stay humble, stay humble. And a lot of people don't like that word. I do, as a believer. It's one of the things we're asked to do, to stay humble. But I think it's whatever your perspective is of being humble. And I think in this realm, the way they were mentioning humble was that you're always in a space where you never feel like you know it all. You're always in a space where you never feel like you know it all. And the person who accepts the fact that no matter how much more they learn, there's always so much more, will forever evolve, and they'll forever grow. You guys get that? So how many of you actually have a number goal established? Good morning. We're actually talking about what salon professionals who earn 75 to 100K are saying, right? For those of you who are just joining me on Instagram. How many of you actually have, and I'm not going to ask you to put it down in the comments, but how many of you actually have a number goal that you wish to earn in your career? Because if you don't have a target, you'll aim for anything, right? There's nothing to measure when you don't have a target. Nothing to measure. And then a lot of times I think we're aiming too low. So what happens when we aim low? We pass over opportunities that will allow us to expand. You guys get that? Sojo says number goal set, right? This is one of the first things when I'm working with my clients is we work on dates and goals, like numbers, right? And so many people are wondering, like, why haven't I hit 75K? A lot of times they haven't measured. They haven't set that even as a goal. And so I remember, I did another post where I said, I can remember asking myself, is this what the rest of my business and life looks like? Is this what the rest of my business and life look like? You know how you get into this routine and you're doing the same thing every day over and over, and there just doesn't seem to be any real expansion or growth. It's just so routine. So I remember asking myself that some years ago, and actually nothing really changed for some years. And I realized the reason why, nothing changed is because I really didn't do the right things differently. So I was still working hard, right? And still earning money. And although it was a decent salary, I wasn't working hard on the right thing that would actually help me to quantum leap in my business. So many people have the perception that, I'm just going to keep working hard and it's just going to happen. Guys, you got to set a number goal, and then you got to look at what you're doing now and have a conversation and say, is what I'm doing now going to get me there? Right? Excuse me. Or do I need a different plan or a different strategy in order to make it happen? If you've been doing it for 10 to 15 years and you have not hit 75K, if you've been doing it for 10 to 15 years and you haven't hit 75K as a salon professional, there are some things that you must do differently. You guys get that? It's some things you must do differently. So they said, follow motivational gurus. Don't hang out in the salon with gossipers and complainers. Guys, I'm telling you, if everybody's doing it, there's another lane. They say science shows that 92% of people who set goals don't make them. So only 8% of the people who are actually setting goals make them. And having an actual number to their goal for behind the chair is one of them. Measuring their process is another one. Some of us, we go the whole year and we kind of just look at what we made at the end of the week, and that's kind of randomly passing over opportunities regularly. Absolutely so, Joe. Right? So we're so random about what's going on. Everyone who spoke was very intentional. The things that they do on a regular, consistent basis, they are very, very intentional about it. There's not a lot of randomness. Oh, I'm gonna just go do this, or it's intentional. It's strategic. These are things that they say they consistently do all the time. And the one that really got me was the girl that says, I go to education classes like it's my job, like it's my job. And her client looked at her and said, it is, right? And she came back and said, my clients have high standards. How many of you have ever looked at your life and realized that you were desiring something that you had not aligned fully with? I'm just gonna raise my own hand. How many of you have ever, thought about something that you really wanted, and then if you really looked at it, you're like, I'm not fully aligned with what it takes to make that happen. And so to me, earning 75K, I'm talking about consistently, integrally, right? Earning it as a stylist and better is about becoming a 75K plus earner. It's about becoming. It's actually what you have to do to become that person, because you don't just make 75K. There are things about you, your personality, your self-development, your habits, your thoughts, especially your thinking, that you have to become to be that type of earner. And so one of the things I want you guys to do, if you have not done this, is to put a number down, right? A number that you desire to make. And I don't mean like, if you make 50, you may say, well, I want to make 60,000 over the next 12 months. Guys, let's think about, let's think about it like this. So 10,000 divided by 12. It's $833 a month divided by 4. $208 a week divided by 5. That's really only $41 extra a week. Set it higher. Set your goal higher. Because you guys, if you retail, you can make 41 extra dollars, every week and make 10 G's easily, right? Easily. So I want you guys to set a goal that's going to require you to do more than what you're doing now, right? So many of us want next level, but we don't want to align with what it takes to actually be, at that level. So one, set a number goal and stretch yourself. So one of the reasons I hadn't hit some of the levels that I wanted to hit in my career early on is because I didn't have the capacity, right, for that. I had to become that person. I changed my conversation. I changed some of my habits, right? And then I began to attract people on that level who were willing to pay me, for the value of my services. So I want you guys to set a number goal and stretch yourself, right? And then look at what you're doing now and say, okay, is what I'm doing now going to get me there? And if it's not, then there is work involved. It is work involved, guys. And a lot of it is internal, right? It's a level of awareness. And this is a huge thing that I wanted to say, because this is actually what I was going to talk about at first. And then I just said I would tie it in. So I want you guys to know that before you really hit a goal, commitment is the first thing that you must establish. It doesn't come last. It comes first. So I was watching a broadcast where they were actually talking about relationships and why some marriages made it and some didn't. And there was a doctor on who was speaking, maybe a doctor of psychology or something of that nature. And she said the marriages that made it for years and years and years, they made a commitment first, right? And so many of you need to make a commitment before you set out on the journey of doing the goal. And what that means is when you set the goal, you have to commit to it fully right then and there, meaning I'm going to do what's necessary, what's integral, right? that's necessary in order to make it happen. Because without commitment, whenever things get a little rough or uncomfortable, instead of seeking new solutions, you'll fall back and go back into old habits, and or feel like maybe this isn't for me. So for all of the things that I mentioned, there was a level of commitment that these stylists had made, and you got to make the commitment first. Commitment comes first. So how many of you know I haven't committed fully to my dream, right? Now, I will say this. Everybody has made some level of commitment. Everyone has made some level of commitment. But you have to ask yourself, what have I committed to? Have I committed to hustling? Have I committed to just staying busy? Have I committed to just paying my bills? You guys get that? Because everybody has made some type of commitment, whether we verbally said it or not. And so sometimes the grind that we see that's going on is because we've committed to just being able to pay our bills. And if that is the commitment, then we're only going to do what's necessary to just pay our bills. We're not going to do anything expansive. Like if there's a large opportunity that would actually allow us to grow, if we haven't committed to that next level of growth, we're going to bypass all of the opportunities that would actually give us the capacity to go beyond just paying our bills or go beyond just the hustle. Y'all with me? Tap the screen if you guys get that. Tap the screen for hearts. Let me know if you guys understand what I mean by that, because we've all committed to something. And that was me. I was committed, and this is crazy because when we don't have a number as a business owner to the goals that we want to make for growth in our business, because maybe we'll say, I want to hire 4 new workers. And so maybe we do that. But when the year is up, even though I have more workers, I'm not profiting any more than I was before, because we haven't assigned, a growth stage as in a number to that. Because once we put numbers in place, we now develop strategies based on the number. Y'all don't hear me, right? And so now I can see if we're setting goals for like personal development goals, right? Improving our leadership, improving our habits. Those things are important. But even with that, you have to set intervals and dates. Like one of the things I do, and I teach this in my Slater Plans and Profit class, which is actually coming up. So I'll be taking enrollment for that in a few weeks for my Slater Plans and Profit class. But it is a vision and clarity class. But this year it's not just for stylists. So I'm not even going to get into that. But one of the things that we do in that particular class, and I believe I just lost my train of thought. Lord have mercy. What was I saying? Slater plans, goals. Oh, so one of the things that I do each year when I'm planning out my new year is I go ahead and say the number of classes that I want to take each year as it relates to my personal development or my skill set, things of that nature. I set some numbers because you guys know we're almost at the end of the year already, right? And so if we don't have a target, if we don't have some things that we're intentional about, the year will be gone and none of the things that we set out to do will be done. Do you guys get that? So I want you guys, one, to set a money goal and allow yourself to be stretched beyond what you already know that you can do. Because many of you know you can earn an extra 10K in the salon industry by just doing what you do just a little bit better, right? But is that really allowing you to grow, right? Is that really increasing your capacity? When your capacity is increased, it means that you're now where operating at this next level has become smooth for you, right? That's where your capacity has increased. And so that's what growing to new levels is it's really your ability to operate effectively at that level, right? So I want you guys to, when you set your goal, I want you to set it a little bigger, right? Set it a little higher than, just what, it's not going to require much. You just got to tweak a couple things and you can hit that. If 10 is your number though, right, then let 10 be your number. But for some of you, you could triple, you could 3x your income. You could 3x your income. I have stylists who, you know, man, they've gone from, you know, a building by themselves to larger buildings to producing income when they're not behind a chair to almost being fully staffed. You know, now mind you, this is over a year, year and a half time, right? With goals of 300,000, not 50K, right? And then it goes back to what I said before, it's your commitment. So you got to make the commitment first. Like, you know, when you set that goal, you say, I'm committed to making this amount. And what that's going to do is it's going to change everything that you do throughout the year. Hey, Brian, how you doing, dear? It's going to change all of your action steps. When you actually set a physical goal, right, it's going to change what you listen to, who you listen to, where you go, what you do with your time. And so I think a lot of times people who earn 75K and better in the salon industry, and there's no thinking about it, they're intentional. They've got specific things that they do on a regular basis, and their goal is always to continue to grow. They don't remember the one girl said her goal, her low goal was 2,500 a week. Her high goal was 5 to 7K. Would 5 to 7K a week stretch any of you guys, right? So a high earning stylist is always in a position where they want to grow, right? Because they understand that their capacity is what allows them to operate at the next level and earn, you know, that next level of income. So set a goal, guys, one that stretches you, you know, not one that you've already hit before. You might have just kind of fallen back from that. But set one that stretches you, because it's going to change the type of opportunities that you align with. It's going to change what you're listening to and what you're doing on a daily basis. And it's going to change your outcome. It's going to change your outcome. So remember, they said they go to classes like it's their job. Self-development is super important to them. They follow motivational gurus. They don't hang in the salon with gossipers and complainers, right? They said dedication and education, I didn't name that one, but I have that here, is one of the things that's important to them or that they do all the time. Another girl said she had a full-time assistant, and then another young lady said she has a low goal that she sets for herself and a high goal. So as a salon owner and even as a stylist, one of the things I did, I set quotas for myself every single day, right? And so I marketed, or I took clients, or I worked towards those quotas on a daily basis. That's how I operated my day that day, right? Like, I know I need to make 600 on this day, on Tuesday or whatever. So I'm not going in there playing around on Tuesday, right? I'm looking to see how I can serve to my highest good on those days. And, you know, maybe there's a client who calls in. Maybe I would take that client, and when ordinarily I may not take them, you know, to meet my goals. Or if it just so happened that I didn't meet my goal for Tuesday, then I would carry over whatever I didn't make into other portions of the rest of my week. But for one, you got to see what you need to make in order to keep the bills paid, right? You got to know what it is you should be making daily in order to maintain the business expenses and your personal life. And then when you begin to set goals of expansion, you set goals beyond what it takes for you to just pay the bills and your personal life. You guys get that? And the funny thing about all of this, right? Because many people will come on and they're looking for this magic, you know, do it quick. Most of it was mindset stuff. Did you guys get that? The majority of the things that they listed as 75K plus earners in the salon industry was mindset, right? They said, I go to classes like it's my job. Education, self-development, mindset, following motivational gurus, thinking, mindset. They don't hang with the salon gossipers and complainers. That's a different mindset, right? Dedication, it's mental, it's personal development. That's what dedication is. They put that down. Hiring an assistant is also mindset. I need someone else who can help me to produce more work in a shorter amount of time. It's going to be an investment for me, but the value of it is priceless. All of that's mindset. Setting goals is mental, right? So I was amazed, all of the things they name, and I tell you guys all the time, 80% of your success is mental. It's your mindset, it's in your planning, it's in your thinking, and 20% of it is your skill set. 20% is your skill set. So that's my take on today, guys. First of all, you got to commit first. It's got to be a full-on commitment, right? People who reach goals, if you ask them, one of the things they'll tell you is, I just made up my mind. This is how I was going to live my life. What you saw was me walking out the journey to that, but I'd already made the full commitment. You got to make a full commitment, right? Because the energy that you give it is what you're going to get back. And when you're not fully committed, then the next shiny object can come and you'll switch over to that thing, right? It goes that way in much of our lives, right? If we haven't fully committed, it doesn't take much for us to veer off to something else. So commitment is the first thing. You got to make a commitment. And a lot of that comes from your vision, being really, really clear on the vision that you have for your salon career and your business. You need clarity on that. Once you get clear on that and you commit to it, all of the things I named are the things that you just do consistently, all the time, over and over and over again. For those of you who are salon owners or aspiring salon owners, I'm actually doing a vision clarity and profit clarity session in Raleigh, North Carolina on October the 21st. It was originally September the 23rd, but with all of the adverse weather conditions throughout our state and the surrounding states, the date has been pushed back to October the 21st. So for those of you who want more and you want to get clear on the vision that you have and then develop strategies to make that happen, come see me in person in Raleigh, October the 21st. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's renewfullcircle.com/maximize, renewfullcircle.com/maximize. And I'm also doing, for an hour prior to the event, I'm doing what's called Power Hour. So I'm taking a few VIP guests will sit with me for 1 hour strategizing their business on a more individual basis that day. And then the event is from 3 to 6. VIP tickets are $175. Regular admission is $97. So you got to I'm going to go back to vision one more time, right? If you don't have a vision, guys, how do you set a plan? How do you know what to work on every day? How do you know who to connect with? How do you know who to collaborate with? How do you know which shows to go to? Because every show is not for everyone. Every skill set, like, you don't have to take all of the skill sets in the world. If you understand what your vision is, you take classes that are going to allow you to maximize off of the thing that you're niching out in, or the skill set that you need. Or maybe you'll say, over the next 12 months, these are the 3 areas I need to focus on. So everything that I do in that time frame is collectively going to align with those things so that I can get greater increase, in those areas. You guys get that? That's my take on today. For salon owners, meet me in Raleigh, renewfullcircle.com/maximize, renewfullcircle.com/maximize. It is for salon owners who want more. If you don't want more, it's not the spot for you, right? It's going to seem like, what did they just say? What are they talking about, right? It is for salon owners who want more. Many of you are working a lot harder than you actually have to. And all it is just shifting strategies, right? There's some few things that you can tweak and do that will bring in massive profits, that will help you to work smarter and not harder. And then in a year's time, you'll be like, man. So come see me, renewfullcircle.com/maximize. That's Raleigh, North Carolina, October the 21st. If you came on late, go back to the beginning and listen to what salon professionals who earn 75K and more say that they're doing. You guys have a super amazing day. Peace.